What up? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's tutorial is going to be mainly focused on the base and how I cover my breakouts that I'm getting from pregnancy, but not just pregnancy. I do get breakouts just hormonal all the time anyway because, you know, before, well, even now, I have endometriosis. So that just messes with my skin so bad. The hormones are ridiculous. So I always struggle with breakouts and texture and congestion and all these things with my skin, no matter how much I try to, you know, no matter how much skincare I use. And I've tried so many different things and I found things that work, but then they don't work and then they change. So it's just a bit of a hot mess. But I thought I would show you how I put makeup over the top of it and how I managed to cover it without looking too heavy and too cakey, and also just show you a general look as well. But if you want to see how I cover my pregnancy breakouts, then keep on watching. Alright, so as you can see, my skin is probably at its worst at the moment. Like, I have so many hormonal breakouts, like, along my jaw and along my chin, and I have a couple of random ones, like, through here as well, but it's just a hot mess. So I've already done my skincare. If you guys want, I can do a video on the skincare as well, but that's a bit, like, very detailed, so I can film another video if you want to see what skincare I've used today and what I'm using at the moment, because it has changed a little bit with obviously being pregnant. There's a few things you can't use and things like that. So if you guys want to see my skincare routine at the moment, then pop some comments down below and I can do that for you. But we'll start with primer. Because my skin is still quite oily, and if anything, I feel like it's gotten more oily, which is crazy because it's winter time now. Usually my oil will, it won't go away, but it'll chill out a bit. Usually that happens, but it's not happening right now. So I'm still gonna need something to help mattify, but also I want something to help smooth my skin out without clogging my pores. So I love the Tatcha Silk Canvas. It has that smooth blurring effect, but with all the ingredients in there, there's nothing that's gonna clog my pores. Plus it helps maintain my oil as well. So I'm gonna pop a little bit of that on through my T-zone, and then I'll put a little bit over my breakouts as well, just to smooth them out. And you want to really make sure when you are having breakouts to have really, really clean hands. So, I mean, with everything going on now, everyone has super clean hands anyway, but just make sure they are very clean. And I'm just smoothing this over my most active areas. For foundation, I'm going to use my Dior Face and Body Foundation in the shade 3W0, and I am going to pop that on with my Beauty Blender. So first I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. Alright, and I'm just going to start applying that all over my face, and anywhere that doesn't cover, or anywhere that is still showing through the foundation, will go in with concealer. But this Dior is still quite good coverage. And on camera it still looks like it's covered really, really well. But in person it's not as flawless. I haven't used a beauty blender for my foundation in so long. I'm usually like using my brushes all the time, and then I like forget that I have beauty blenders because I'm always like, I sit down and then I'm like, oh, I forgot I have to go up and like wet my beauty blender, which who can be bothered once you've sat down. I'm just getting right up into the hairline. If you have dark hair like me, you end up staining it so you look like you have greys. But it's fine. Now you don't want to do a super full coverage like all over if you're trying to cover a few areas, because you're just covering up the beautiful skin that is around those breakouts. So you want that skin to shine through, and you just want to cover those areas of breakouts rather than just doing one big blanket over your face. You still want that natural, beautiful skin coming through, and just a couple of areas that are troubled that you can cover up a little bit more. Alright, and now I'm going to just do a little bit of concealer in the areas that are still sort of showing through that foundation, which you might not be able to see on camera, but in person it's not as perfect as I'd like. So I'm going to grab my NARS Soft Matte Concealer in the shade Ginger, and I'm going to pop that on with, you guys might find this weird, but a Morphe M33 brush, which is a little bit more like a fluffy dome eyeshadow brush. The trick with this is you want to be able to blend out those edges. You don't want something just smacked on there and not blended out. Soft edges with a soft brush is going to really, really help. So this is the best way that I'll do it. Even when I'm not wearing too much makeup, I just whack a BB cream on and I just want to conceal over there. This one here. And then I am just going to put a little bit over the breakouts. Pretty much the same as I will do eyeshadow, sort of packing the colour on and then softly buffing it out. And then what I'll do is very, very, very gently, I'm going to get the Beauty Blender with no more product on it, and I'm just going to like barely touch the skin just to add that little bit of extra blend and make sure it's all seamless. And for under eye concealer, I'm going to grab my Hourglass Vanish Concealer in the shade Oat, and I'm going to pop that on under my eyes and highlight the other areas of my face and blend out with my Beauty Blender. And to set that all in place, I'm going to grab my Huda Beauty Easy Bake Setting Powder in the shade Pound Cake. And I'm going to set where I put the concealer, and I'm also going to set over those little breakouts as well to stop the concealer from moving. And I'm just going to use my Morphe E8 brush. And just dusting that over. Oh. No, I don't know if you just heard Boss then. He's somewhere. Right here. He likes to make his presence known. Alright, and then over the breakouts, I'm just going to pat it in. I'm not going to rub too much. So essentially I would just pop a little bit of powder like that. Essentially baking, not too much, you don't want to like whack way too much on there, and then let it sit for a little bit. I usually would do my eyeshadow or something like that and just let it sit, whereas just today I'm just sort of patting it over, try not to get too much on my black shirt, and then just kind of pressing the powder in. I don't want to buff it away because you might buff some of that concealer away, which we don't want because it's way too hard to fix that once it's gone. Okay, and for bronzer, I'm going to grab the Fenty Beauty bronzer in Caramel Cutie, and I'm going to pop that on with my Smashbox angled brush. It's a blush brush, but it's, you know. And I'm not going to do too heavy, just going to softly frame the face. And anywhere that you have concealed over a breakout, you don't want to go too hard. So you want to be super, super gentle. And if anything, do more of a patting motion. Because this brush is nice and fluffy, it will help blend it really well. If you do have something a little bit more narrow and a little bit more dense, it's going to be much harder to blend it. And you're going to have to do some work blending. So using a more fluffy brush, you can get away with the patting motion a little bit easier, because you don't want to disturb anything underneath. It should be set in place now, but you just don't want to sort of mess around too much with that area that we've worked so hard to cover. And if you do have to blend, be so soft, like super, super gentle. Over this area, I'm just really patting it in. Alright, and for blush, I want to stick with something quite matte, but if you have any breakouts, you don't want too much highlight over there because it is going to highlight that texture and those breakouts. So I will stick with matte, and that's why I've done a matte bronzer as well, just keeping the glow to a minimum, because glow and glitter and any sort of shimmer will help reflect light. So it is going to pick up on every little bit of texture and any little breakouts there. So we want to avoid that where we can. So I'm going to grab my MAC blush in the shade Style, and I'm just going to pop that on with my Luxie 660 brush. And this one's a nice peachy shade, so it's very natural. And I'm just going to pat that over my cheeks. This will look nice and warm toned, which I like. It's not too pinky. It does have the most subtle bit of sheen to it, but it's really not. It's not, I would not class this as a glowy blush. I would barely class it as a satin, to be honest. It says it's a frost, but is it though? The dog next door is howling and I'm waiting for Boss to start. There he goes. What's wrong? What's wrong? Hey, come here. What's up? What's up? Goodness me. What's up? What's up? Come here. Up. Hello. What's wrong? Yeah, I know. The puppy next door is making lots of noises. Come on, lay down. He's under the desk, so he's probably gonna, yeah, keep making noises. He's a very talkative dog. He's got a lot to say. He's a lot like his mum like that. Never shuts up. Alright, and even though I did say we want to avoid as much shimmer as we can, we still can't not highlight. And luckily for me at the moment, there isn't really many breakouts where I will highlight. There's a couple through here, but not too much. I'm not going to do anything around my chin, but I'm just going to do I'm going to try and do a very soft amount of highlight. So I'm going to grab my BECCA Cosmetics Opal Highlighter, and I'm going to use my Anastasia Beverly Hills A23 brush. So I'm just going to do a soft amount right on the top of my cheekbone. I'm not going to go too hard, and then I'm going to go through my brow. I'm not going to bring it too far back just because I do have one breakout right here. And then I have a couple of little ones here as well, so I'm going to try and avoid that as much as I can by being super soft and quite narrow as well. I do have texture, which is one of my like most painful parts, is the texture, but yeah, that's my biggest thing, and I do what I can to fix it. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that. So I'm just going down the bridge of my nose, and then on the tip, soft amount through the forehead and the cupid's bow, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not doing the chin. Alright, and for eyeshadow, I'm going to grab my Morphe 3502 palette, which is probably one of my favourite Morphe palettes. Okay, boss, are you disagreeing with me here? And I'm just going to do some neutral shades. I'm not going to go into the reds and the browns and all of that, like the reddy browns. I am going to start with this shade up here, and I'm going to pop that on with my Morphe Jaclyn Hill JW30 brush, which is just a really nice big fluffy brush. And I'm just going to blend the crease. And always forget to bring you guys in. And then I'm going to grab this shade down here, and I'm just going to use that to deepen up the crease with my Luxie 229 brush. And using that same Luxie brush, I'm going to grab this darker shade right here. And I am just going to pop that in the outer corner. And then slowly, softly blend whatever's left over into the crease. Oh, boss farted! Oh, that stinks. That is not good for a pregnant nose. Boss, that's stinky. You like a stinky. Stinky butt. And then I'm just going to get that same brown shade on a different brush. This one is my MAC 239S brush, but this is one of my like OG brushes because all the names are rubbed off. And I'm just grabbing that same brown shade and I'm just going to smoke out the lower lash line. Not going too far down like I usually do, just sort of connecting everything. And I'm just going to tightline it using my Smashbox gel eyeliner. This is the Always On gel eyeliner in the shade Fishnet, which is just black. And I'm just going to tightline. And I just, for some reason, felt like doing my waterline as well. I don't know why. I wasn't planning on doing that. I'm gonna say baby brain, but we're just gonna rock it. We're just gonna work with that. And I'm just gonna do a coat of mascara, and I'm gonna grab the NARS Climax mascara and just do a coat of that. And before I put lashes on, I'm going to quickly do my brows. I'm going to do that off camera. If you haven't seen my previous video of how I'm sort of doing my soap brows and stuff, then I will link that here. But I don't want this video to be half an hour long. So if you want to see that, there'll be a little box link here for you. Okay. Alright, and now for lashes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop on the Eyelaw number 143 lashes, and I am obsessed with these for a really nice natural lash. So I'm going to pop these on first, and then put a little twist. I'm going to quickly pop these ones on, and if you want a bit more of an in-depth tutorial on how I do my lashes, because this is going to be a lot quicker, then I will link the video here as well for you. But I'm going to grab the left one, and for me, I've used these a million times before, so I don't have to, well, not these particular, I've used this style heaps, and I have found that I don't need to trim these, but just double check, you may need to trim yours. And I'm just going to pop the glue on quickly, let the glue get nice and tacky as well. Now pop on the other one. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to customize these lashes by adding individuals. So these are the Eyelaw individual lashes. These are the Knot Free, which I love. They're easier to customize. And you've got you've got a glue, and then you've got a remover here. So I'm going to use the glue, and I'm going to pop a bit of that on the back of my hand, and that's what we're going to use to apply these. So you can use these on their own, or you can do what I'm doing now and customize your lash by incorporating a couple of little individuals. Usually I add them towards the end just to give a little bit more volume, but you can do it any way you please, or you can just use individuals on their own for super, super natural look. So I'm actually gonna put a little bit of glue on the tray just to make it a little bit easier. And if you forget which one's which, It says it on there and it says it on the box, which is the remover and which is the glue. And you've got 3 sizes as well. So you've got your large, medium and small, or small, medium, large. So your large usually goes on the outside, medium in the middle and small in the center, just to make it easier. I'm just gonna make sure my tweezers are nice and clean. If you get too much mascara or glue or anything on them, you're just gonna have a bad time. So I'm just gonna pick up one of the lashes. I am not a very fiddly person, so I always used to have so much trouble with individual lashes. It's about getting a good grip. So it's very hard to see here, but I just dip the tip of the lash, which is super, super hard to see. Very fine. I just dip that tip into the glue. I'm gonna zoom you guys in. Let it get nice and tacky as well. And I'm going to pop this on the outside. Give it a little bit of a maneuver. And then it adds a little bit of length. And I like to go with individuals, I go one eye, one eye, one eye, one eye. Otherwise I'll forget what I've done. So now I'll do one on the other side. Okay, another one on this side. And all I'm really doing with these is just adding a bit of extra length to have a little bit more elongation towards the outer corner of the eye. I find if you're struggling with individuals, like if you've managed to get a strip lash on and you're still struggling with individuals, doing it this way I found it a bit easier. I just found that because I think having that strip lash there, if you don't get them precisely exactly where they need to be, it's a bit forgiving because you've got that strip lash there. So this is a really good way to practice individuals. I'm mainly just going to do the outside, but usually if it's a little bit more of a bougie look, I would whack heaps on. I'm going to do one more on either side. And then once they started to dry, I will really gently squeeze them together so they're right on the lash band. Okay, so it is a very subtle difference, but it has really elongated those last few lashes and just given an extra bit of zhuzh, which I love. So super easy to do. And then I could keep going, but I love these lashes and I'm keeping it natural because all we're doing today is literally going for house inspections. So I don't need to be hella bougie today, but I'm going to finish with a lipstick. So I'm going to grab the Anastasia Beverly Hills lipstick in the shade Peachy. I'm going to pop that one on. And over the top, I'm just going to put on the MAC lip gloss in the shade Oyster Girl. So I'm just going to pat it in first. And to set it all in place, I'm going to grab the Hourglass Cosmetics Veil Setting Spray. So I actually haven't used this yet, so we'll see how we go. Alright, so it's like a mist. It's not like a... because it's like a can, and I was like, oh my god, is it gonna be like hairspray? But it's still a mist, so I'm just giving it a good shake. Oh, it is a really nice mist. I don't know how I feel about the smell. It doesn't really have a smell, so you might not get the smell, but my nose, being pregnant, I'm on steroids, like it's just insane. So I may be smelling more. Doesn't taste good, but yeah. It's not a bad smell, it's not a good smell, it's just like a you know, like they haven't put any fragrance in there to smell bad. It's just the the scent itself is probably not that great, but it's got a nice mist. Alright, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this gave you some tips and tricks, not just for pregnancy acne, but also just acne in general, any breakouts, anything like that, because I struggle with that all the time. It's just since I've been pregnant, it's gotten way worse. So yeah, it's not fun. But I just wanted to like show my way that I apply my makeup and how I keep it on and how I cover the breakouts, because they're not fun and everyone has them. So we're just gonna, you know, deal with it. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Pop some comments down below if you want to see that skincare routine or anything like that. Then let me know in the comments below. But other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!